A Wolf's Howl by Moonstone. One afternoon, on the edge of the town, Thurin Falls, Henry Foster stared at the never-ending wood that sat beyond his backyard and beyond the oak wood fencing. He was waiting for the beautiful song of the wolf that sang every afternoon at 4 o'clock. The song he heard the wolf sing ever since he was 3. "I wonder what it's like there," Henry asked himself out loud. He always wanted to go explore the wood beyond his house, but his parents always said no. He looked at his watch. It was 1 minute to 4. "Henry!" called his mother from the inside of their large white house. "Come in. It's time for dinner." "5 more min—" He didn't have time to finish his sentence. The song of the wolf echoed throughout the forest. "I didn't miss it," Henry sighed in relief. "Henry!" "Coming, Mom!" he shouted in quiet annoyance, as he rushed up to the back door. Little did he know that on the other side of the fence, 2 golden eyes stared through a tiny, large crack. "He'll be home someday," the figure whispered to herself. "I promise." Chapter 1. The Escape. "Mom, what's it like in the wood?" Henry asked, chewing on his food at the dining room table. His mother's head sprung up so fast that it seemed as if it could have popped right off. His mother was not happy with his question. "That forest goes on for miles. You can get lost, get poison ivy, or worse," she replied in a harsh tone. "Your mother's right, Henry," said his father, putting up his plate. Henry got up to put his plate away as well. Henry's father looked over at his son's plate. "You've barely eaten anything, my boy," he said, pointing to all the leftovers that were still on his plate. "It still looks like a full serving." "I wasn't hungry," he replied in a rather rude tone. "Henry, don't talk like that. And remember what we told you. Do not go into the wood." Henry turned to face her. He threw his plate onto the floor in front of her feet, smashing it into pieces, bits of food and glass spreading everywhere across the dining room floor. "Go to your room!" Henry rushed over to the stairs and stomped up to his bedroom door before slamming it behind him. "Why can't I ever go there?" he asked the stuffed lion, Wrinkles. As always, Wrinkles did absolutely nothing and just sat on the corner of his bed with a stitched smile and dark black button eyes. Henry let out a sigh as a tear escaped from his left eye. He plopped down onto his bed with his face buried inside the pillows. He held Wrinkles tightly in his arms as he slowly cried himself asleep. Went his bright green alarm clock. Henry slowly opened his eyes. The small rays of sunlight shined through his blue curtains. He groaned as he got up and rubbed his eyes. "Guess I was out all night." He pulled up his sleeve of his shirt and looked at his watch. 6:30. "Oh, time to get ready for school." Henry got up onto the floor and walked to his closet. A bright blue hoodie was hung on the handle. "I'll put this on over my other stuff. It's not even that cold yet." It was the first week of October. Normally, in Thurin Falls, it got really cold around the months of September through February, but it had been in the 50s and upper 40s for the last few weeks, and it was announced on the weather that it should stay this warm for at least another week or 2. A jacket would be necessary. "Henry, you up, honey?" called his mother from the bottom of the stairs. Yeah, just gotta get dressed," he said, putting on his long-sleeved button-up shirt. The rest of his school uniform was a blue tie that was checkered, a black pair of shoes, and a black pair of jeans. The shoes were optional around this time of year. He was glad he didn't need to wear them. They were not his favorite type of shoe. And he finished putting up on his uniform and walked over to his bedroom door. He kept his favorite pair of shoes behind the door in a brown shoebox. Black and bright blue Nikes, with green glow-in-the-dark shoelaces. He added those himself. He plopped them on and raced down the stairs and walked into the kitchen. There was no broken glass or cheap food or any sign that they were there at all. At first he thought that this meant what happened last night was all a dream, but the emotionless faces of Mom and Dad, who stood by the table, said otherwise. "Sit down," said his father, with no emotion in his voice. Henry pulled up a chair and sat down. His head hung low. "We need to talk to you about your anxiety," said his mother, who pulled out her phone from her pocket. "She's right, Henry. It's been getting worse, and it's been giving you some anger problems. We think we found something that may help you. Henry sank deeper into his chair. He knew where this was going. We found this place a few hours away from here. His mother showed him a photo on her phone. It was a building that had Milestones Autism, ADHD, and Anxiety Helping Center on the top. This is the place that teaches kids with disabilities like you to function better. Henry said nothing. After a few minutes with no talking, Henry got up. I'll get my hoodie, then I'm gonna head outside for the bus. He walked up the stairs, got his hoodie, then came back down. Your bus doesn't come for another 30 minutes, and aren't you hungry? His dad asked. But Henry didn't listen, as he headed outside anyways. He looked behind him. His parents were still inside the house. Send me to that place. How could they? He mumbled to himself before he made it up to the street light, which was where his bus picked him up. He had a small thought pop inside his head. Maybe I can try and sneak out and spot the wolf from our backyard, he thought as he quickly turned around and ran back towards his house. When he made it to the back gate, he noticed that there was a medium-sized hole in the middle of the fence. It didn't look like it was caused by nature or erosion. It looked like a wild animal had chewed through it to make a way for it to go through the fence. Henry set his school things aside in the grass and got on all fours. I'll just have a quick look. He took a glance at his watch. It was 6:40. Then just come back here before 7:05. He crawled his way through the hole and got up. Now on the other side of the fence, he could see the forest fully. It indeed seemed to go on forever, and he could spot what seemed to be a waterfall at least a mile away. I'll check that out first. Maybe the wolf is having a drink or something. Henry took one last look at his house through the hole. Don't go into the woods. A little peep won't hurt me, he said to himself as he walked along a worn-out path by the hole, which seemed to be leading to the place where he was going. As he continued to walk, the same creature with golden eyes slowly followed him and stayed hidden in the trees. Welcome home, Henry, she said to remind, and she quickly turned and ran down the shorter way to the waterfall, leaving Henry alone.